So your mother-in-law came over and she decided to implement the rules of her house into yours. What do you do with that? Before I give you my suggestion, I want you to comment below. What do you do with a mother-in-law who comes to your house and does not respect the fact that it's your house and you do things your way in your house, but she does things her way in your house? What do? Pause the video and seriously comment below, and then we'll get into it. Let's take a small example. Let's say you have guests over. She is the guest, and whenever you have guests over, you like to use your fine china and pour beverages into glass. But she thinks that it's better for you to use styrofoam plates and styrofoam cups because whenever I have guests, I don't want to spend all that time washing dishes. So she brings paper plates, paper cups to your house. And you're like, what? I thanks, but I didn't really need that because that's not how I do with my guests. That right there, for some of you, that can be a big issue between you and your mother-in-law because she can take that and become defensive or be offended that her styrofoam plates aren't good enough for you. And I mean, you already know how that can go. So what's the suggestion? What do I do? What do I do with this? Well, here it is. Your man has to be present. That's it. Her son, your man, has to be present. I recall in the early stages of my wife and I being married, I would leave whenever her and my mother were in the same vicinity. Reason was because of two reasons. Number one, I just would pray and would magically think they're going to form a relationship and a friendship if I'm not there. And then number two, if something did go wrong, I did not want to be present to deal with the drama. Both ways, not good ways. Your man has to be present because he is the only person you two have in common that makes you have to be in this relationship. And if he's not present, there's no friendship coming out of this. There's only friction. And he doesn't realize that because he's a mama's boy and his thought is you guys are going to work it out. But he has to be present because you two have to be a united front. You two have to have the same mind when it comes to how you deal with your mother-in-law. At the end of the night, if my wife comes to me and says, your mother said X, Y, Z to me, or she did A, B, C to me, if I'm present, I can say, you know what, babe, I did peep that. And then I can listen to my wife, or your boyfriend can listen to you, and then he'll understand you because he was present. Presence is power when it comes to the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. I call it the meal and deal. Presence is power when it comes to the meal-deal relationship. Because if the man is not present, if your man, her son is not present, there will always be room for her to say or do something that her son cannot hold her accountable for. So again, whenever your mother-in-law is in your presence, it is important for your man to be there. He has to help facilitate your relationship. And then perhaps as you guys establish a rhythm as a triangle, he can then separate and he can leave your presence, and both of you as mother-in-law and daughter-in-law have a mutual respect for one another. And you don't have to worry about the little stuff happening that's going to blow out of proportion. Hey, as always, thanks for watching this video. I'm Shareef, Mr. Aim for I Am Ali. And if no one has told you, allow me to be the first. I see the supreme lover in you. Blessings, and I'll see you next week.